mic is on. Really tough. I don't want to do it. Let me set it this way so it can be more simple for you to simply just press it out. Our eyes on the screen thing. So you have the light is on. Let's say the rest of the Alright.
Watching from Barbados, welcome to. You sent it.
Instant scale. Intro. We're doing right.
I'm such a fool thinking I won't get caught in your downhill flow. Swept away. What is a beautiful day? I'm alone and you. You're in the car of my only flaw.
Well, good night to you. How y'all doing tonight? You know, I'm quite happy to be here with you again for another episode of Advancing the Cause. And you know what? I want to right away say good night to Yvonne Rodriguez, and she's watching us from Barbados. Yvonne was there from the time the clock struck 6:30. She was there. So Yvonne, good night to you, and I'm hoping that you're telling the folks in Barbados to tune in to Advancing the Cause. You know what? Tonight we're going to have a good time. We're going to try something new tonight. We're going to try a little calling tonight. Hold on, don't rush it. Hold on, I'll tell you when. But you know, I'm always excited when I'm here on Advancing the Cause. You notice I dress up for y'all tonight. Hey, you notice, right? I want to say good night to everyone who's watching us. My friends way out in New Zealand, my friends in Switzerland, my friends in Turkey. Good night to you. My friends way out there in North America, in the UK. Good night. Well, it's not night. It's almost morning. It's almost morning for some of my friends in Turkey, and we are 5 hours ahead. But my friends in the UK, they're 5 hours ahead of us. My friends in Belize, good night to you too. And right here in the Caribbean, good night to all of those Guyanese and non-Guyanese who are watching us. We thank you every time you tune in to more on Advancing the Cause. And we love it when you're here with us. And to my folks right here in Guyana, good night to you. Those in Region 6, those in Region 5, those in Region 5, Region 5, Region 3, Region 2, all across Guyana, good night to you. And yes, let me say big up to my friends in Region number 10. They got it going on, And so my friends in the other regions, you've got to get it going on too. You got to keep the fire burning. And so call your friends, call your neighbors, call your aunts, call your uncles, granny, everybody. Tell them advancing the cause is on. We're going to be rocking this ship tonight. Really, really nice. We got good things for you, like always. And so I said, we're going to try something new tonight. But I want to first extend birthday greetings to some of my very, very good friends. Dawn Leach Kite, 50 today. 50 is a big one. And maybe I didn't take notice, but this year I'm recognizing that lots and lots and lots of persons are celebrating their 50th birthday. It's not easy to get there. Y'all don't matter with me. I get in there I get in there. So don't worry. I get in there too. And so happy birthday to all of you, but to Dawn especially, happy birthday to you. I trust that God is going to continue to bless you. I noticed we had a 90th birthday and a 94th birthday. Happy birthday to all of you. God has been good, and so He has given you that time for our 94 and 90th birth anniversary. Of course, you have fulfilled the promise. 70, and by virtue of strength. And so you have fulfilled that. And then we've got some folks who are celebrating wedding anniversaries. Yes, wedding anniversaries to some of those who, happy anniversary to some of you who were celebrating your 26th. I saw 26th, I saw 25th, I saw 30th, I saw 31st. Happy wedding anniversary to you. And let me say to you, just keep that fire burning just the same way it has been burning. Yes, we know that you've had your ups and your downs, but there's something special that has kept you going on this far. So good night to all of you. Happy birthday, happy anniversary. And then, of course, we have some folks who are sorrowing at this time, and we want to extend to you our sincere condolences. We know how hard it is to lose loved ones. And so we've lost 2 teachers within a matter of days. Teachers have lost parent, other relatives, and we want to extend our condolences to you. On Advancing the Cause is where we show how much we care about you. And so I promise maybe the next time we probably have a pastor, or I probably have a prayer that I can read for you. But Advancing the Cause is all about sharing our concerns, sharing our business, what is of importance to us, what is not being done for us. That's why we're here on Advancing the Cause. And of course, I can't start this show without saying good night to 2 of my very, very special friends who I had the opportunity to interact with them 2 nights ago, I think it was, or maybe last night, just can't remember. But Monday night it was. Freddie Kissoon and Leonard Gildari. Good night to you. Big up to you, my friends. And like I said, I am extending openly and officially here an invitation for you to come on my program, just like you invited me on your program. And we're going to be sharing, we're going to be rocking. The thing is, we have come to recognize that we are one people, one nation with one destiny. And so while we have our different political persuasions, we understand that we are Guyanese and there are issues, real issues, not issues that are being fabricated or made up issues. People have real issues. And that's what we need to talk about, and that's what we need to fix. So I don't want to hear the president talk about, the opposition making up this and the opposition making up that. I'll show you a little later. These are real issues. If you travel the streets, if you travel Regent Street at nights, you'll see what I'm talking about. We have real issues. And yes, I'm not going to say that these issues popped up just like that, but come on, we got oil now. We got plenty more monies now, so we can fix it. And so to Clifton Stewart, good night to you from way out there in Paris. Look, we've got to have this club that we usually have, and we're going to welcome some of these folks who are here with us. Clifton Stewart, thank you for being here with us. We have Warren Brown, and we have Edwin Thomas, we have Forbes, we have Nesta Melville, man, Andrea Jackman, good night to all of you. Thanks for being here on Advancing the Cause. You make me so happy when you're tuned into Advancing the Cause. But we have to move on. We have to move on. But before we move on, Miss Allen, what is it? Miss Allen from Barbados, another young lady from Barbados watching us. Good night to you. Look, we've got to move on because I'm going to get myself into a whole lot of trouble if I just start calling names because somebody's going to tell me, but you didn't call my name. Good night to all of you wonderful people. We know that you are honest. We know that you are sensible, and that's why you're tuned in to us. You know, I would sometimes I would flash across on Facebook and so on, and I see some people hosting programs, and they have 5 persons viewing. They have 35 persons viewing. One night I saw the Prime Minister having a program, retired Brigadier Mark Phillips, hosting a program, and he had 39, I think, persons watching them. And so when we were counting the amount of ministers they have there, and all those ministers who are married, and we said, you know what? Even some of the ministers not watching the program. And so it is saying to us that, you know, people don't want to hear makeup stories. People really don't want to hear makeup stories. So we have got to be, we want you to be informed, and so we give you the facts. So let me get right into the highlights of tonight. I am not going to want to have you waiting any longer, but I know you're going to join. And so on our highlights this evening, we've recognized that, you know what, Guyana has become, of recent, the land of fires, the land of murders, the land of accidents, the land of drowning. Something is definitely wrong. I don't know what is wrong, but folks, let me tell you, y'all pray for Guyana. Pray for Guyana. Help, well, I know Bishop Juan Edgil, nobody answering his prayer. Nobody answering his prayer. So he really can't pray at this time because for the supernatural powers that he said is affecting the workers completing that contract, they're completing that road on Cemetery Road. I thought, you know, as a bishop, you would go out there and pray. But nobody is answering his prayers right now. So we have got to pray for each other. We've got to pray and wash this land so that we can have peace once again in our land, in our homes. We can be safe. And so we've had so many fires, and these fires are taking lives. Not only fires destroying homes, but the fires are taking lives. We saw a mother and her son. We saw an aunt and a niece. Then we saw 2 other persons, I think somewhere on the East Coast. Come on, I don't know. We've got to do something more. Guyana Police Force and the Guyana Fire Service, the Ministry of Home Affairs, come on. You just got some sort of billion the other day. I'll tell you how much billion. 2 billion you got the other day in from the supplementary budget that you put forward there. Set aside some monies and do some awareness on television. Y'all own NCN. You don't allow any opposition member to have airtime on NCN. Take some of the time and use it on NCN to do some awareness. Talk about fire. Talk some more about how we should use the road. Talk some more about how we should be relating to each other. You know, these fires are serious, and they're not only taking lives and leaving families without homes, but they're affecting neighbors and they're affecting communities. We just had 20 in Madia, and then the fire just continuing. Yes, I'm seeing somebody saying the blood of Jesus come. We got to pray some more. We got to pray for these people. We got to pray that God would cleanse our land. That He would heal our land. But you know what? The good book says, if we don't acknowledge that we are doing wrong things, then we can't get the kind of healing and peace that we need. So our sympathy go out to those families who've lost their loved ones. And you know, dying by fire, I could imagine. You know, you just put your hand next to your stove and the steam from the pot touches you there. And you know how you feel. Much more for somebody to be trapped in a home and can't escape. Trapped in a room, can't get out. And they have to experience that fiery death. And you hear screaming and wailing. And families on the outside screaming and wailing because they can't go in to help their loved ones. we've got to do some more. And while we are doing as an opposition, we want the Guyana Police Force, the Guyana Fire Service. Come on, Robeson Ben, you need to do something. Acting Commissioner whose tenure has been extended. Come on, Hickens, you gotta do some more work with your folks there. Then we go to these accidents. Oh my gosh, don't talk about it. It's a 2 and a 1 and a 3 and a 1 and a 2. When is this going to end? When is it going to end? So Guyana Police Force, y'all got plenty work to do. Don't let your guys stick up themselves, go and hide between the bushes and they wait for somebody coming and then they push their gun out at you. Get them to do other work. Get them to do other things. Start making the public more aware of how they ought to use the road. And you notice with all these roads that we're constructing all of these roads now, and some of them got the wrong signs and all kinds of things on them. Come, we gotta walk the streets and we gotta do what is right. And this is not anything make up. If you check the stats, you're going to see how many accidents we've had within a short period of time. For this month alone, the amount of accidents we've had, fatal ones too. In 2 days, in 1 day, come on, we got to do better than we're doing. I'm seeing here Mr. Alicock. Good night to you, and I trust that you're going to be enjoying this program. I know, yes, you said you did enjoy the program, you watched the program, and you really did enjoy it, but we're going to be good. Yes, so as we continue, these accidents and these fires, they're not doing well for us. We already have a limited population, a very small population as compared to Trinidad and Barbados and those places. And if we continue to lose our lives, then you know what? I really don't like to talk about it, but we're going to have many more dead people's name on the list. You notice we had a whole lot in 2020, and then at the local government elections, we had dead people's name there. And if you're doubting me, you run the internet and you're going to see the vice president, I've nearly said first vice president, but the vice president, Barrow Jagdeo, he had to apologize to the people, to the doctors and so on, for putting their mother's name on the list, even though she's dead. And then the murders. Wow, this is another one that's heartbreaking. The murders. We cannot continue to have this. Too many of our young men are getting caught up, which means that we're not doing enough. And I'm saying we, because I'm not, as an opposition MP, and as an opposition, we are not excluding ourselves from this. We have been doing work. We've been going out there in the community. If you check, you're going to see the opposition leader and his MPs, and the MPs by themselves sometimes. We're going out there and we're meeting our people. We're not waiting for elections time to come and tell them about this or tell them about that. We're in the fields almost every day. And I want to see Jagdeo, not when they want to break down people's stars and so then you go in and tell them, oh, we can do this and we can do that. Or elections time, you're walking around the place and you're promising people all kinds of things. We want to see y'all out there talking to our youngsters. So we had the unfortunate shooting, they said it's a stray bullet, that killed Dr. Sam. Then we had a young man in West Bromveld, killed again. I think he attempted to part a fight, or he was an onlooker with some commotion. He was shot, dead. Then we had a brother stabbing a brother and killing a brother. And then we had a young man killing a teen in Leopold Street. And so many stabbings, other stabbings that are like too much blood. And we got to do something about it. You know, it is saying to us that one, mental health is on the increase. Therefore, it means that persons are less tolerant of each other. And because you're less tolerant, you as soon as something happens, the first thing you can do is rush to pick up some kind of weapon. We saw another young man there killing another young man. He said, oh, it was self-defense. But at the end of the day, a life is lost. 2 lives are going away wasted. because one is going to the grave and one is in the lockup. So that one can't contribute any longer to society. And so we've got to do much more. And I'm hoping that my very good friend, the Honorable Priya Devi Manikchand, I'm hoping that she's watching, or maybe some of her folks are watching, so that we're going to do a little more in our classrooms. Some more talks when schools are reopened. We're going to do some more talks with our pupils and our students, so that they understand, so that from a young age we teach them to be tolerant and to be respectful to their peers. We've got to stop this thing. Something isn't right some way. Something isn't right some way. I don't know what is happening, but this isn't going down well for us. And then we saw 3 children drowning in a boat accident. I think it's a boat accident or something. 3 children. Too much blood again. Too many lives are being lost. We can't afford this. And so, as we continue to move on with our highlights, I want to say to you that the supplementary budget would have been passed in Parliament. Of course, you know, the PPP government, they bully their way through. As a matter of fact, I should say to you that 31 amendments that were proposed by opposition MP, the Honorable David Patterson, they were all rejected by the Parliament, by the PPP. All of them were rejected. They took none of that into consideration. And more than that, I want to say to you, the PPP only come to the House when they want more monies. More monies, they come to the House. And because they take too long, which is saying to us that we have a very weak speaker. And because we take too long to go to the House, when we go there, we have to sit from 10 o'clock one morning to 9:30 the next morning. Yes. So women are there, and we're sitting from 10 o'clock one morning, Wednesday morning, to 9:30 the next morning without any consideration. And that's how they view women, you know. That's the kind of respect they have for women. And so, yes, my friend, Mr. Glasgow, we're happy to have you. And thanks for being here with us. So we've got to do something about it. And I'm hoping that you, our viewers, our citizens right here in Guyana, that you are going to be making the demands for regular sittings of Parliament, because there is always things for us to talk about. And then, you know, we have recognized too that, again, dengue and typhoid and COVID, they are on the rise. I recognize that somebody from health was urging citizens to clear their parapets, clear their yards, keep their yards clean, and to take all the precautionary measures so as to prevent and to guard against dengue fever. But let me tell you, to date, we have had 8 children dying and about between 7 to 9 adults who died after having contracted the dengue fever. And maybe they probably had other complications, the adults, I'm not sure. But these are lives that we should not have lost. And so I want to urge the Ministry of Health to work along with the municipality in our towns and the NDCs, to work along with them, and let's have the places being fogged out. Come on. Our citizens are important. I know you all live in Pradoville 2, and you live in Pradoville 1, and you live, I can't remember the one where you're living up on the East Bank there. Windsor Castle, yes, Windsor Castle. Somebody just on the comments there said Windsor Castle. I know y'all don't have those kinds of difficulties. You don't have to endure those kinds of things. But come on, the citizens voted for you. Quite a lot of citizens voted for you. Even and those who did not vote for you, you robbed them of their votes. So come on, fix the place. Spray out. In Georgetown and other communities, you're seeing too much garbage along the way. You drive into some of these communities, garbage full and running over here, garbage full and running over there. And I can vividly remember when the PPP were in office prior to 2015, Georgetown was renamed the garbage city. And you know, we're heading right back there. We're heading right back there because there are communities where we're seeing 2 weeks before garbage could be picked up. And this is no fault of the city council or the NDCs, you know. This is the fault of the local government ministry because they're not releasing the monies. You're talking about you want audit and you want and who dishonest and who not dishonest, and you yourself can't tell us. You can't account for quite a lot of the monies that you come to Parliament and collect. You can't account for it. So don't tell other people about accountability when you yourself, when you're guilty. So we don't want to hear that. Fix the place. Yes, folks, they have zero or very little respect for women. And we see it, just the way they treat the women in their party, that's how they feel that they can treat all women. And you know, I don't want to go down that road, because if I go down that road, we'll end up somewhere else. We'll end up with the accusation that was made against Darren Lal. We'll end up with the Darren Lal talking about the dildo. We'll end up with strip and slap. We'll end up with how Barra Jagdeo treated Varshni, and these are all situations and scenarios that is showing us how much respect the PPP have for women. But we gonna fix all of that. We gonna fix all of that. But I noticed another one I think it was yesterday. I noticed the chairman of the Police Complaints Authority calling out the acting commissioner. Man, come on. You are there to serve and to protect and to ensure that our laws are upheld. And you breaking the law, man, come on, Hickins. You're my friend, come on. You got to set the record straight so that others can follow. You can't be doing these things and have the chairman calling you out like this. When there are issues, pass them over to the Police Complaints Authority. You can't be judging and jury and wherever else you want to be. You got to pass it over to the people who got the work to do. So come on, don't let's have the chairman calling you out on these things again. I don't want to say more on that, but it's embarrassing when the chairman has got to call the commissioner of police out. So come on, we go all around the place and we want to call some of our law enforcers, we want to call them decent citizens, but we can't call it decent when we're having these kinds of complaints coming out. So come on. And I was talking about the murder, and then we had a disturbing one where a couple was found on the East Bank, somewhere there, and it's suspected to be murder-suicide. Again, you see, tolerance. We're not talking. We're not helping people, so people they don't know how to deal with situations. We can fix this thing, man. We can fix this thing. And then, of course, I spoke about Dr. Sam's unfortunate death, and we saw a young man from Plaisance being charged with the murder of the former Chief Education Officer, Education Specialist, Ministry of Education. And, let me at this time pause to extend my sincerest condolences to his wife, his children, and other family members. I know education has lost a real solid man, regardless of what he did. When it came to the business of education, he was solid, he was focused, and we are going to really miss him. We are going to miss him. So again, another youth in the jinx. I'm hoping that it's the right person, because we pick up all kinds of people. And on that note, I want to ask, what has happened to the Quindon Bacchus' issue? What has happened there? Next week, we're going to deal a little more with that. What is happening with that case? I know police officers were charged, I think about 3 of them. What is happening there? We're not hearing anything about it. What has happened to the Orange Boston case? I'm not hearing anything about it. I am not hearing anything about that. Harry Singh, the Henry boys, what was happening there? Corwin Mars, what is happening with these cases? We're not hearing anything about them. And when you don't hear anything, then 2 mornings after, the whole thing died down. And people lose their sons, they lose their husbands, children lose their fathers, you lose your uncles and so on, your brothers, and it gone. Come on, we need to hear something about these cases. We need to know what's happening. The public needs to know what's happening. And, it's not good. It's not good at all, at all, at all, at all. So the government were able to collect their supplementary, they were able to bully their way and collect the supplementary funds that they went to Parliament for. And I'm hoping that those monies are going to be used just for what was written on those documents. The ones before, we know that they weren't used for what they were supposed to be used for. And I keep saying, quite a lot of persons, I hear them going around the place and they're saying, oh yes, what is happening to paper sharks? You see? What happened to paper sharks? And what happened to Sue? Well, Sue got killed. Well, I don't really know. But what happened to paper sharks more than the investigations? And what happened to Sue, Javier? And I have to invite you on this program to tell us a little bit about Sue and what has happened to Sue. But I'm not going to invite you to come into studio. We're going to have to do this program. You will have to stay where you are, and I'll be in studio because, we got to do too much work on you before you come into this place. But all of these things are happening. The police force, like I said, the Ministry of Home Affairs, they have gotten $2 million. And I'm hoping that they're going to be using the $2 million to do what it's supposed to do. And oh, by the way, we had the commission for the inquiry into the Madhya fire. We had the commissioner sworn in, 3 members of the commission. I don't know how we can work that one out because y'all remember the $5 million final settlement, final payout. And according to Anil Nandalal, the Attorney General, we didn't have to do this and we didn't have to do that and we didn't have to do what and what and what. You darn right had to do it because those children were in the care of the state. So don't come here and tell people foolishness. The government didn't have to do it. You have to do it. If y'all had proper systems in place, the young lady that y'all are alleging light the fire, or the young lady who you are alleging to have lit the fire, she would not have done that if y'all had proper systems in place. Those children would not have been burnt and so many others, they would not have died and so many others burnt and traumatized if y'all had take them foolish grills off the windows. So don't say, come and big up yourself and talk about government didn't have to do this. So we're waiting to see what is going to happen there with regards to the commission that is now in place. I know that the entire area has been cleared. Where the Durham used to be, it has been cleared. And so I am waiting to see how the folks are going to be able to go around there to see this, to see that. I don't know. And sometimes you get the impression that we have things to hide. You get that impression sometimes that we have things to hide. I notice my screen is saying no signal, but you know what? We are going to continue anyhow. It happens, and we got to work with that. So the commission has been commissioned, and we are waiting to hear their view on what has happened, and we're waiting to hear the recommendations, and we are waiting to hear those who are going to be held for that fire. And so I think I've reached the point now where we can do this call-in thing. But here what we can do, I'm going to put some images on screen, and then we'll take your calls. You're going to comment on those images. Mind you, I don't care which party you are aligned to. If you come on this program and you try to be disrespectful, let me be very, very nice with you and ladylike. If you try to be disrespectful, we're going to take you off. If you want clarification, or you want to make a comment, or you want to make a suggestion, or you just want to call in to say good night, but not too many good nights for tonight, we'll entertain you. But if you're going to call in to talk craziness, then I'll have to call out your number so that I can have other people call you and answer the query or the concern that you're having. Are we clear on that? Once we're clear on that, then we can go. But we'll take a quick break, and then we'll come. When we return, we're going to have the images there, and we're going to take our calls. So our number tonight is 684-8758. 684-8758. That's the number that you're going to call in. Make your comments, make your suggestions, say how you feel about what is happening. So we'll go with the first one. Remember, we want you to be very kind when you call in. Be very respectful. So here we go. That's our first photograph for our first slide for this evening. And this is Miss Chevon Green, the young lady who was treated like this by the Guyana Police Force. She's from Mucka. Chevon Green from Mucka. This is the young lady whose house was broken down. Her shop was destroyed. She had a grocery shop there that was destroyed, and that's how the police treated her. Your thoughts on this slide? We'll await your call while we talk a little more about some other things that are happening. You know, this is a young lady with three children, a single parent with three children, and I don't know. You see her with her hands behind her back there is because she was handcuffed. And you tell me what you think. And this is the PPP. This is the PPP. Every time we have the PPP around, the PPP come to destroy, disrupt, corrupt, everything they do. Just about everything that they're not supposed to do. And these are the very people who would tell us that, hey, when they were in opposition, they spoke so much about how much they love this country and how much they love the citizens of this country. But we have seen, by the time they got into office, we've seen the cocaine go in, the flooding out of communities, terrorizing of villagers, police doing all kinds of things happening to police. And so I don't know how much more of this we are going to be able to take. I don't know. So our number to call is um 684 That's our number to call. 684 You can call us at any time and we'll take your call. Let's hear what you have to say. Maybe what I think we can do is probably bring up some of our other pictures, which will kind of arouse you to make some more calls. Yes, that's the young lady there again. That's Chevron Green. That's Chevron Green. And I'm putting these on I'm putting these shots up there because I want us to remember. Because sometimes we have short memory. I have to remind you of the things that is happening to us. We got roads, and if you see the substandard work that is being done on the roads, we have contracts that are being issued. And don't talk about the people who get in the contracts. Don't talk about the people who get in the contracts. Just recently, we heard that, oh, we're going to be importing truck drivers. Could you imagine that? We're importing truck drivers? I could understand if you specify, but don't come to tell us that. But that's the way they have to do things to ensure that they siphon off the money. That's the way they have to do things. And you hear people talk about these huge buildings and they're seeing so much transformation in Guyana. And look at what is happening in Georgetown. Tall buildings is because people can't eat the tall buildings. And with those tall buildings that we're having, you check how many of our regular citizens, how many of our ordinary citizens can visit these tall buildings or can afford to visit these tall buildings. Now we have to look at corruption. The gateway for corruption is infrastructure. As long as you continue to do roads and put up buildings and so on there, that's the gateway, that's the vehicle for corruption. So that's how they try to do it. You notice a certain ministry, they're building up, they're putting up all kind of, well, Ministry of Education, you notice we're building schools all over the place. And we're not doing any kind of feasibility study to determine how many pupils or how many students will be going to these schools, but we turn in sod and we multi-million, hundreds of millions of dollars. Mind you, we are not opposed to schools in areas where they don't have schools. But come on, are you going to spend 100 or 200 million dollars to put up a school and you have 25 children in that school and four teachers or three teachers, or you have a school where you're having multi-grade teaching and you got five or six teachers? Come on, we got to do better than that. If we're going to do stuff for our citizens, it must be done properly. That's what we want. It must be done properly. We've got so many schools around this place. Let's upgrade them. But while we're on schools, I just heard that there will be no more dorm facility for Madia. The students are going to be transferred to President's College. So those students who are living in all of the outlying areas, they're now going to be transferred to President's College. And they're going to be, I don't know if they're going to be, if they're, now that they're transferring them to President's College, they still have to live in dorm facility unless you're going to be renting houses in Success, like you've been doing, like some of you have been doing for those young ladies who y'all folks impregnate and you transfer them to President's College and you're renting homes for them. You got them living in Success and some of those areas. But when you transfer those students to President's College from Chinapau and all of those areas, they have to still live in dorm facility. I hope you're fixing President's College dorms. I hope that you're fixing it and it's going to be fixed properly, because now that you're going to have more intake, then you got to ensure that you have proper beds there, proper mattresses, proper lighting facilities, that the bathrooms are fixed. So you're not just bringing the people's children and dumping them there. ensure that President's College is A1, because you can't bring these children there after they've been traumatized in one dorm, and you're bringing them to have more trauma being added to them. So I hope y'all fixing it. Hope you're gonna fix it, Auntie Priya. Hope y'all gonna get it right. Yes, so I am not sure what is happening. What is happening with our phone line here? I don't know what is happening with our phone line, but we'd be happy to have your call. I think somebody called. I don't know. Somebody called 9 minutes ago. Who's the ending of the two last digits was 77. I don't know. But make your calls. Make your calls. Maybe because we did not have the phone, but I just saw we had one missed call about 9 minutes ago. But call us. We're ready to take. I'm ready to take your call. Like I said, we're trying something new this evening. I know it's going to be somewhat difficult for our folks who are watching us from Paris and Barbados and all those areas. But let me tell you, we are going to fix this right. We've just decided to try it out now. But come not next week, the following week, we are going to have WhatsApp for you so that you can call in on WhatsApp. But if you can't make the call from right here, then you can probably send your messages on in the comment section, and we'll probably take your comments there. And I'm seeing my very good friend Mr. Paul Court, one of our best in terms of music. And you know what? This government, they've decided they're not going to use him. But my friend Paul is making headways far, far, far miles away from here. And other persons have recognized him. Other universities have recognized him. And so he's doing what he loves best. He's doing music there. Paul, good night to you, and thanks for being right here. I know one of these nights we're going to pull you on this program so you can tell us about, your experience. Tell us about your field of study and how much you love. I know that how much you love your country, Guyana, but you had to go. You had to go to greener pastures. Yes, we're waiting to hear you call. Maybe we'll have to turn the phone up a little bit. I don't know. We probably have to turn the phone up a little bit so that we can get your calls. But feel free to call us. I am not sure. This one is not WhatsApp. But you can call now, 684-8758. You can call us. And we're going to be happy to take your call. But while we're going through, we're going to run these slides. We're going to run the slides by you so that you can see the slides, and you'll be able to call and speak on, and you'll tell us which one you want to speak on. So, my dear, let's run the slides. I believe in giving commendation where it's due. And so as long as we have our friends here and loyal Guyanese who really, really want to return to this country to give back what was given to them, and they're being prevented from doing that, we have to let them know how much we appreciate what they've been doing. So Paul, glad to have you again. 684-875 51, I can't remember. But we're happy to have you. 58, that's our number. Operator, maybe you can run the slides for us so that we can see what is happening with the other pictures that we have here. While we're talking about this one, I noticed someone in the comment section is asking, what has happened to the 50,000 jobs? What has happened to the 50,000 jobs that the government promised when they were in opposition? Again, promises. That's what they do all the time. They make promises, and promises is like what they did to the folks in East Rumveld, West Rumveld, and some of those other areas, when they promised them that they're going to do so much for them. Just coming down to local government elections, they promised them so much. And after local government elections, when they recognized that quite a lot of those persons did not vote for them, they have abandoned ship. But you know what? You'll see them coming again maybe a little later this year. You'll see them coming. Next year, you're going to see them coming, and they're going to talk to you. They're going to give you a whole lot of promises. They're going to come like Santa Claus to give you a whole lot of promises. But watch for them. Be watchful because they're no good. They are no good. None of them. They are no good. You know, let me say to you, to use the National Cultural Center, you have to write directly to the minister. Let me remind you, we have an administrator there, but you have to go to the minister. The minister's got to okay who can use the cultural center and who can't use it. And I like Coretta McDonald. Well, they ain't gonna stop me really. They might try to, bob and weave, but they wouldn't want me to talk about it here. But it is disgusting. The minister's got other things to do. Why is the minister burdening himself down with having to approve the use of the cultural center, approve the use of here, approve the use of there? I don't know why that got to happen. Why it got to happen? No wonder he can't answer some of the questions in Parliament. No wonder he can't, because he's doing too many things that he's not supposed to do. But that's the PPP. They like to micromanage. They like to micromanage. So if you have to use there, then you have to do this. You have to do that. And then they tell you how much money is. The folks, our folks here who want to put on plays and so on. Just the other day we had an issue with one character, a young man, because he spoke out about what he's seeing Charles Ramson's wife here and there, as if she's minister number 2 or minister within the Ministry of Youth, Sports and Culture. The director was told that this young man cannot be a part of his play. They're not going to approve the use of they're not going to give funding. They're not going to approve they can't use the play. A whole rigmarole story because they feel that you shouldn't talk about them. You shouldn't say when they're doing wrong. But come on, when they were in opposition, they did a lot of talking. So why we can't talk now? Why citizens can't talk when they see all kinds of things happening? I remember when they were having the I can't remember the thing. I think it was leading up to independence when they had the one day and a concert and all kind of thing. I think it was leading up to independence. When I went to the National Stadium, you had the Night of the Legends concert. And quite a lot of those senior folks, Charmin Blackman, Bonnie Alves, you had Winston Czar, Caesar, a whole lot of these folks, some came from Linden, some came from the East Coast and so on. And those people had to wait there until 9 o'clock. They were told to come for a rehearsal that started at 5 o'clock. They had to wait there until 9 o'clock. And that's because, what's his name? Ramson's wife was doing her rehearsal there with the students, and they had to wait there. But what we're gonna do, let's go to a break, and then maybe we'll see what is happening, or we'll probably just have to continue with the program. But let's take a quick break, and let's see what is happening. I don't know what's happening with the line this evening, but it's a new thing we're going to try out. I think we need to have this kind of interaction with you, so that persons would not want to continue to say we're making up and we're making up and we're making up. I think we had the phone volume down, but we're going to take a quick break, and then we'll return and we'll talk some more. Yes, so we're here again with you. I think we try to rectify what is happening there, and so you come through with your calls. But while we're doing that, let's go to we have a video that we're going to show you. We have a video that we're going to show you. Um, it's disgusting. I'm seeing persons who are relating to us that they've been living in some areas for 26 years, 32 years. I remember one of the issues at Success on the East Coast. By the time the PPP got into office, I think it's about 2 weeks after, they flooded the people there. And you know what they did? They didn't do it during the day. They did it during the night. When the people got up in the middle of the night, persons' homes were flooded. And that is wickedness. Talk to people, give them, do put other systems in place so that you give them options. You give them options. Come on, man. We can't be treating our people like that. We can't. So, operator, could you put that video on that
in Region 3 came out to express their
and so
frustrations about
what
the
we're
government's
seeing
approach
here
to their
are
homes and
residents of
livelihood.
Plastic City. This here is in Region 3, Plastic City. Residents
By
there are
2 weeks,
black
it is gang is up.
Black man,
this,
green
right?
man, and
Now,
this man.
don't be coming with we who live for this month. I'm going down to the end where they start this.
Homes are currently being destroyed without proper engagements or discussions.
You would see the kind, these are times people who would have worked all their lives to put up a structure that they call home, and now look, their homes are going, some of them, their homes are already destroyed, and so they called out to
Leader
the
of the
opposition leader,
PNCR and
he took
opposition,
time
Mr.
off some of
Aubrey
his
Norton,
MPs
paid a
and
visit
some
to
of our
Plastic City to
other
listen to the
party
concerns
comrades,
of the people.
and they went there to visit and to listen to those people and to listen to visit the area, to listen to what those persons are saying. We cannot continue to be destroying people's homes. If you're going to remove persons from where they are, then you have to ensure that you've got somewhere else to put them. You can't just break down people's home like that. Who building it again for them when you break it down? Come on. PPP, you got to do better than that. You can't tell people that you love them and you're destroying where they call home. Where you expect them to go and sleep when the night comes? Huh? Where you expect them to go and sleep when the night comes? When you break down their homes. It is not right. If you are saying that they are on land that is government owned, then find somewhere for them to go. And you know what? You're not just coming to tell them, well, we want you to move from here and we're putting you over there. You have to consult with the people, and that's one of the characteristics that is lacking in the PPP. They don't know how to talk. I figure no wonder we're having all these fights and these stabbings and all these murders and shooting and so on, because they get that from
Residents are demanding answers
the
after
PPP.
witnessing similar
The
government
people get that
approaches
from
to
them. They
various
don't
other
know how to talk
communities
to
like
people.
Ilford and
Look,
Mocha.
all these homes are homes of citizens, poor citizens who can hardly make it out, and you're destroying their homes. Come on. Viewers, let me hear from you. Come on, we cannot continue to do that. So the number again to call is 684-8758. 684-8758. But we'll continue. Let's have the next the next slide there so we can continue. Well,
Folks,
this is
we
the
are
famous
live. We're
one.
back
This,
live
I
again.
have to recap here what transpired in Mocha. This is what transpired in Mocha. Yes, again, I have to review this because you must remember these things. This is what the PPP did to poor citizens, ordinary citizens. A young woman having a shop there, a grocery store, trying to make a living, trying to sell things at a reasonable cost for the villagers there. And this is what the PPP would have done to them. You notice what they did there? And that young lady's home, the PPP had their persons to come and do the valuation there. It was valued at 13 point something million dollars. That is what it was valued at. And you know what the PPP said? They're offering her some $14 million they're offering her. Now, They're breaking her down, you know, and they're going to offer her $14 million to go and rebuild. Now, if you look there, you're going to see, and the young lady said she's not taking that. That she can't take that. Now, if you notice there, you'll see the young woman had a whole lot of stocks from Banks, DIH, and Ansi McCall, and so on. You know what that operator did? He destroyed every single one of those cases. Every single one of those cases he destroyed with that machine. What he couldn't break up, he dug a hole and he buried them dragged them and buried them in a hole. This heartlessness, more than this, in there. Viewers, I hope that you're seeing. And yes, I have to remind you. And so you had the villagers there, helpless on the other side of the road because they didn't, you know what else they did? They broke all the bridges. So you couldn't run over there. They broke all the bridges and they broke them halfway. So you could run from the street where they were standing there halfway to the bridge. You couldn't get further than that because they broke those bridges. And what can we say to this? What can we say to this? Huh? Could Priya say to these people that she loved them? Huh? Could Ashni Singh tell these people that he loved them? Jagdeo could walk there and tell those people that he loved them? I mean, it's not only mothers you did this to. You did this to fathers, to sisters, to brothers, to little children, nursery school age. How you expect them to view you? Do you expect them to want to reach out to you? No, they wouldn't, because they will always remember that you broke their homes down. You broke their homes down. I recognize that there was another call coming in there, but I'm not sure. But come on, we've got to come on. We've got to take these calls. We want to hear from you. But as we continue to wait on your call, we're going to go ahead with the program. This here is a reminder that Irfan Ali is heartless. Don't bother with them walk around that they just walk around. And you see, if you look at the man standing there, he's standing halfway on the bridge. He can't go further than that because the other half of the bridge was broken down. And these videos, I will continue to replay them because we've got to remind our citizens of how heartless the PPP is. How heartless those men and women within the PPP, how heartless they are. We've got to remind our people. It is not, and this is not a make up anything. You know, they like to say, oh, the opposition always making up story. I hope my friend Freddie Kissoon is watching this. And you don't tell me that it's reserved land. After 38 years, don't tell me it's reserved land. Because I've seen in other communities, those lands were regularized and people did not live there for 38 years. But it's wickedness. It's wickedness, high-class wickedness, and we'll remind the people of this. We have to remind you, see what's happening there? And so while Chevon's home was being broken down, Chevon was there handcuffed in the mud because Chevon wanted to defend what she worked hard for, and the police took her, and they had her there in the mud as if she was a pig, you know? This is heartless. And so that was the Ministry of Housing officials standing around there with the Guyana police force, giving them the kind of protection that they need. We're having no signal again. Giving them the kind of protection that they need and allowing them to break people's homes down. This cannot be defined as nothing else but wickedness. And so we'll continue to go on in with our program while we wait. Don't worry, unless you come up here to talk to be disrespectful, then we'll call your numbers out. Other than that, we'll just hear from you and hear what you have to say, and we'll respond. We'll respond to you if there's need for a response. But as we continue to go on, we'll let you know that a couple of days ago, we saw some citizens, when the video is going to come up, you'll see it. We saw young men there who have been looking out for, they had to fix roads for themselves. And that shouldn't be. That shouldn't be that these young men got to fix roads for themselves. I mean, come on, look how much money is we getting. We getting plenty money. Plenty money we getting. And I don't know what we're doing with all of these monies, but we're getting plenty money. Lots and lots of monies we're getting. But you know what? Unless you can, grease up the palm. Yes, this video is showing us. And operator, I'd be happy if we can have some sound coming from this video. I'll be happy. The viewers might very well be happy to hear, what these young men are saying.
What we're talking about this people house of break down.
It is disgusting.
Look at the work.
Guyana with all the oil
condition, the minister is there, Mr. Indar. Passes several times of the day. He always say when election time, being here with the local election time, he bring a whole team here. 13 of them come, and none of them do not up to now. Check the date for the local election to now. We got wait 2025 to get another value election before we get a car back. Why do we smack? Look at the team here. Look wrong. Just
but at least we still get a car back. And if you are self-rep, tell the government to fix it.
Well, you see, the young men there are saying, I didn't say it, the young men there are saying that when it was leading up to local government elections, my very good friend too, some people say I mustn't call him a very good friend, but my very good friend Indar, he went there with 13 other ministers and other high officials, and he was campaigning there to get the people's votes in Tushen and promised them all kind of thing. Now look how long local government elections finished. Promised them that he can do the roads. And he is the minister within the Ministry of Public Works, and he passes there all the time because he lives not far from there, and he has to pass there. So the taxi drivers, operator, I'll be happy if you could show us again. The taxi drivers have to be fetching waste from builders' waste to come and fill up holes in the streets. It's not right.
This is what we're talking about. This is car park. People house of break down. We got back up back. Look at the work on them. Look at the taxi driver them. In hand condition, the minister is there, Mr. Indar. Passes several times of the day. He always say when election time, being here with the local election time, he bring a whole team here. 13 of them come, and none of them do not know up to now. Check the date for the local election to now. We got wait 2025 to get another value election before we get a car back. Why do we smack? Look at the team here. Look wrong. Just
but at least we still get a car back. And if you are self-rep, tell the government to fix it.
That's the kind of mentality. Oh, you have a car park, but it is the government's obligation. It is the government's obligation to build car parks. That's their obligation. It is also their obligation to fix the roads. It's plenty monies they're getting. Plenty monies they're getting. So and that's the mentality of some people. Oh, the government gave you a car park. So if the street's bad, it's okay for you to have to fetch stuff from somewhere to come and fill up holes. That's not the job of the regular citizens. Why you think you're paying rates and taxes? You're paying all kind of taxes. Huh? And it's more robbery than anything when you see all these monies passing in Parliament. And why you think the government, as a matter of fact, the Speaker of the National Assembly, why you think the Speaker doesn't want us doesn't want to give us time to interrogate them when they come in with these budgets? Because they know that Parliament is being aired live, and people will see and people will hear, because many of the questions they can't answer because they're accustomed to bullying their way through. So many of the questions they can't answer, he doesn't want them to be interrogated. He doesn't want us to question them. You notice when the Honorable Vola Lawrence was questioning them, how they behaved. You notice when they were being questioned by Honorable Coretta Finance, how they behave. You notice when the Honorable German Vergeer and so on and Ganesh Maipal, they were asking them questions. You recognize the answers they were getting from them. You recognize the answers we got from he and Honorable Atal, so I'm going to call you Honorable. Anand Prasad, very arrogant guy. Dharamlal's reincarnate. No, he couldn't answer those questions, and he was very, very, very abusive. But you know, viewers, I'm hoping that you are seeing what is happening there, and you're taking note. These people are all about themselves. And I'm seeing one of our callers, one of our viewers saying that on the coalition, President Granger had 4 vice presidents. But with this one, the current president has 1 vice president, and he seems to be in charge of everything. And everybody know this. Everybody know that story, man. That our friend, I just sorry for you sometimes. I just really, really sorry for you sometimes. I'm really, really sorry for you sometimes. But it's disgusting. Very, very disgusting. Very, very disgusting. We saw just recently, before we go to the other video, we saw just recently what they're attempting to do again in Melanie, when they try to rename the place and to reassign lots of all kinds. These people come up with all kinds of craziness. And you know, the guy has got the order from the High Court there. Judge Gregory Barnes was the judge who presided over that matter. And she gave an order that the place belonged to the co-op. You know what? They stole a whole lot of house lots. I think the people got 55 or something more house lots remaining, and they want to come and take those over. I don't know why these people just grabbing and grabbing and grabbing, and where they're carrying it, they can't carry it anywhere when you see that time come. But they just mean to grab and to grab. And let me say this, let me be straight in saying this. If you look at many of the areas that they're grabbing lands, they're areas where Afro-Guyanese black people live. And we've got to stop this. Guyana is about 6 races, and every single race must have its share. Every single race must have its share. And so, you know, we have got to be able to continue to highlight every single one of these in the incompetence of the PPP government. We don't want to hear about your building roads and you're constructing roads and you're constructing buildings and you're doing all. We don't want to hear that, because the poor man can't eat roads and they can't eat buildings. And when a building is completed after 3 months or 4 months, what happens next? The poor man got to go and look for another job. We got the Amici restaurant there, hotel and restaurant. How many ordinary citizens could go there? So don't tell us about these hotels and all these hotels that are coming here, these hotels with chain links that are coming here. Our ordinary people can't afford to go there. So don't tell us about it. Tell us how you're going to provide regular jobs for the ordinary man so that they can have long-term jobs. Don't tell us about these up and down contracts today, tomorrow, and these sites that you're putting up today, tomorrow. It's like the part by Pontrench Dam there, where you call it. I can't even remember what you call it, because, you know, they that whole big stretch that they did there. After the construction, well, how many more persons could get jobs there? After that part was constructed and declared open the night before local government elections, the jobs finish. More than that, after local government elections were completed and the votes were counted and the results were announced, almost all the jobs for cleaning trenches and drains and so on, the folks in East Rumvelt and West Rumvelt and Laying Avenue and so on, they were told when they returned 2 days after that the work finished. Contract done. You know why? Because the people did not vote for them. The people did not vote for them, so they decided that they were going to spite the people. They're very vindictive, very, very vindictive, and I can tell you about it. I can also ask my friend to tell you about it. You see why they don't like Auntie Melly Mel? They don't like her. You notice how they always got somebody to tell her something because she talked these stories straight too. And she knows a lot. And they think they can trap her here and they can trap her there. But I'm thankful that we have some women in this country who have decided that we will speak for those who can't speak for themselves. Whether we're here or we're overseas, we will speak for them. Something is definitely wrong with the PPP. Something is definitely wrong. And they always like to throw their thing on somebody else, where they would say, oh, the AP and you like to play the race card. We always like to play the race. This is not playing any race card. This is not playing any race card. And I promise you that every week I'm going to have more and more videos to show you with some of what has transpired since the PPP took office. I will show you some of what transpired when the coalition was in office and how they were dealt with, and what has transpired when the PPP are in office and how they've dealt with it. Operator, could we go to the next video? The next video there, maybe we can have some sound too. Now, these are our Amerindian brothers and sisters, and they're crying out for justice. This is in Region 1. This is in Region 1, and they're crying out for justice, and they're saying that the funds that were supposed to come to them, the carbon funds that were supposed to come to them, is a whole lot of skullduggery going on, and the monies are not going where they ought to go. And so the people are saying, we don't want you to come to us with foolishness. We know that those monies have been passed, and we're supposed to get the monies, so let us have the monies. Let us have the monies. But these people just feel that they can do all sorts of things. They just feel that they can do all kinds of things. So the people are protesting there, and they're protesting for justice. They want justice. The people want justice. They're asking for transparency. Huh? They're asking for transparency, and the PPP, they like to boast about how transparent they are. And every day, people crying out. Every single day, people crying out. Every day. Huh? Every day. And you know, I like what my friend Lorraine is saying. Lorraine is saying that the PPP are creating a racial wealth gap. That's what they are creating. And the aim is for Afro-Guyanese that they must always be subjective. That Afro-Guyanese must always be the ones to be oppressed. And we've got to stop this kind of nonsense. Guyana belongs to all of us. And I can say this without any fear of being contradicted. When the coalition were in office, you heard the cries, and I'm sure persons are going to put it up on the screen just now. You heard the cries from the coalition supporters because they thought that the coalition was supposed to pay attention or focus on their constituencies alone, or their constituents alone. But the coalition government did not do that. The little monies that we had to pay a whole lot of debts that were created by the PPP. We had to fix a whole lot of things, but what remained, the resources that remained, we ensured that it was spread right across the country. So in regions and in areas in regions when we hadn't lighting, we ensured that the people got light, solar, and so on. In areas where there was no internet connectivity, the coalition government ensured that they had that. In areas where they hadn't running water, the coalition ensured that they had not only running water, but clean water. In areas where they had some community centers, They put internet facilities there. They put up lighting there. They fixed some of those community grounds. So come on, people. Why now, with all of this money that we're having here, with the oil resource that we're having, why is it the Guyanese still poor? Why is it the Guyanese are still poor? Why is it that we still have so many persons sleeping on the streets? Why is it that public servants cannot receive a comfortable salary? Why is it that we're having so many crimes being committed? And you know why people got to commit crime? Because if I don't have and you have it and you're flaunting, I gotta get too. Why is it that we can't put systems in place? You know how many young men and women who are highly qualified and we have them driving higher cars? You know how many public servants are doing 2 jobs? I can tell you that. We've got public servants who are working during the day at their regular job, and at nights they're doing security guard work. In the afternoons when they knock off from work, they're going to another job because they got to do it to make ends meet. And I don't want to hear you tell me that in America, people doing 2 and 3 jobs. And in this part, they're doing 2 and 3 jobs and all over. In the USA, they got food stamps. In the US, $100 could buy enough food to last you for more than 2 weeks. In Guyana, $20,000 can't do that. In Guyana, $20,000 can't do that. So don't tell me so. Huh? People are barely, sometimes before the half of the month with your salaries. It finished, half the month your salary finished. You gotta be splitting in your head now to find out where you're getting the other half from. And that's why sometimes tenants hide from their landlords. Because when landlord come, you don't got the rent money there to pay. And this government is not doing enough to ensure, and in some instances, they're not doing anything to ensure that an ordinary man or woman could approach the bank and get access to a loan. But you know what? Their friends and their favorites and their families are getting it. And all who in the circle with them, the 3F circle, all who in the circle with them, they're the ones getting it. But operator, we'll go to the next slide. We'll go to the next slide.
Men fall off of the work site here, fall off from till up there. Men fall off of the work site here, fall off from till up there.
Yes, so we saw, I see that we have a visitor here with us, Vixie Knott. Vixie Knott, we're happy to have you. You have to be here with us. We love you, even though you don't like when we speak the truth, but we will continue to speak the truth. You got to tell them boys with the throw it on Freddie that they're full of that, not us. We speak the truth. And that's what y'all like, and y'all is getting packed up here in buckets and so on, waiting to throw it on people. But I would be happy to see you. I would be happy to see you, Vixie Knott. And you must put up your face so that people could see you, man. You must put up your face. Yes, so as we continue, see, they like to come into school, and when the math problem is too hard for them, they get frustrated. Y'all are dumb stunts. Yes, so here is it. We have another video that is showing us where 2 laborers, maybe one is skilled and the other one is not. We're seeing 2 laborers who fell off of their work site. 2 laborers who fell off of their work site. Look at them. They ain't got on no safety, nothing, no safety, nothing. And I don't know what is the function, why we got a man there by the name of Joseph Hamilton heading the Ministry of Labor. I don't know, because every 2 or 3 days, we got workers falling off from work sites. You don't see them with helmet. You don't see them with any sling hooking them up when they climb, when they're on these heights. Nothing. And so poor and ordinary people continue to suffer. So here is it, 2 young men. We're not even sure what their injuries are. But 2 young men are going to be laid up for a while. And you know what? Their families will suffer because I'm sure they are breadwinners of homes. Their families are going to suffer. Come on, people. How much more we got to talk about? How many more times we have to tell you these things? Where are the labor officers? Why aren't we employing if we don't have? Why aren't we putting vacancy notices out there to employ them? But you know what? We got too many square pegs in round holes. Too many. So they can't function. They just can't function. No wonder our citizens are continuing to suffer. Now, if, I've seen it happen before where young men got injured on the job, and what happened? They have been laid up. They've been paralyzed for life. No money's coming in. Wife got to go hunting all over the place to make a dollar to ensure that they can eat. Families have to start supporting them with a little thing here and a little thing there. And you know what? I think this is what the PPP government is all about. They like to know that they can give out handouts. We have now become a handout country. So they like to know that they're passing and giving out handouts. Handouts here and handouts there to make them look good. Now, let me tell you, when the coalition government was in office, there were endless things that were done by the coalition. But you know what? President Granger then, he didn't see it fit to post everything that they do on Facebook or broadcast everything that they did. And that is one of the reasons why quite a lot of persons are saying, oh, the coalition didn't do this, the coalition. But he saw that as being his responsibility as government to ensure that people have lights, they got water, they got proper healthcare system. You forget when we came into government just before May 2015, you forget we had pregnant women sleeping two on a bed in the Georgetown Hospital. You forget how many maternal deaths we used to have. When the PPP returned, we had that same thing happening. Quite a lot of maternal deaths started again. And so these people are just incompetent. They just don't know how to run a country. They just don't know how to treat people well. They just don't know how to ensure that persons are safe. I can tell you, teachers fall through floorings at school and injure themselves. Teachers fall down from fall off stairway breakdown with them. And the PPP had 23 years, and they're here again. And the coalition only spent 3 full years in there, and they want to tell the coalition all kind of thing. And that's why the Calypsonian had to sing it there. He had to sing the song, and I'm sorry that I don't have that song to play for you, but I'm gonna find it to play for you. Maybe next week we'll find it to play for you. All the PPP, all they know how to do, and I think they learn it from the vice president. I think they learn it from me. How to steal. Steal some now, steal some there, steal some there. All of them. That's what they know to do. Yes, and so Cadogan is saying safety is not a priority for this government. It's not a priority for them because they don't have to go there and their children don't have to go there. So they're not interested in other people's children. Every 2 mornings, people falling off a work site. Who in dead? They're badly wounded. Every 2 mornings. I remember when the coalition was in government, we used to have Minister, and I'll keep saying this, Minister Brooms used to walk around she used to go into business places to see the kind of conditions that workers have to work under. She used to go in there and she used to tell them you got a certain amount of time to fix it right. Toilets, the eating area, the timing that they have for lunch, the working hours. Come on. We got to go back to those days. We must fix it right. And you know what is distasteful? Is that this same Minister of Labor who don't know how to labor, He always go on platforms to talk about the labor laws and the ILO conventions that we've signed on to, and they don't uphold one of them. Not one. Not one. All these issues that we have with harassment in the work, sexual harassment in the workplace, before you talk about it, they're ready to shut you up. They're ready to shut you up. And I'm seeing my friend Forbes there saying they know well, but they are, I think he probably wanted to say something else. They are vindictive and selfish, fortifying themselves regardless of who or what suffers. And that's so true. That is so very true. And thank you, Paul. I guess you can't call in, but we'll have the call-in segment on WhatsApp so that you can call in. Yes, the PPP are all about themselves. All about themselves. I don't know what is happening there. But Ingrid Pollard, good night to you. Good night to Jackie. Good night to Outfront Parts. We are in crisis here. And viewers, I'm hoping that you are going to tell somebody else and tell somebody else and tell somebody else what they are doing, so that together we can come and root these people out of here. We've got to root them out. We can't, you understand the amount of debts that these people are putting us in? That our children, grandchildren, great-grandchildren, great-great-grandchildren would not be able to repay with all the oil monies that we are having. Rather than these people engaging ExxonMobil and all of these people who they're giving these, they're offering these wells to, rather than them engaging those people, they're robbing the poor citizens. They're not engaging those folks, they're robbing us, the poor citizens. And we've got to be able to change that. We've got to be able to change that. And we can only change these or change the situation we're in if we all get registered. We must go out there and get registered. And when we get registered, we go to the polls when they announce the date and we vote them out. But mind you, you have to start looking at those lists. When those lists are posted, start looking at those lists. You must know the people in your area or know the people in your street, because they can stick in a dead man here, a dead woman so, a dead one there, they can stick them in. So you must ensure that you know the people in your street, know the people in your communities, so that when you see strange names there, you know for sure that this one belong here. Outside of that, we recognize too that lots and lots of these Spanish folks, they are giving them ID cards. They ain't got no birth certificates, but they're giving them ID cards and they're registering them and they're going to bring them to vote. But you know what? They're not registering them with the fancy names that they got so that we can pick it up. They're not registering them with that. They're giving them all kinds of names. So if you name Rodriguez something, they Jose Rodriguez or Jose Rodriguez, well, you know how they pronounce it differently. They're giving them Samuel Charles, somebody so. Excuse me. But you know what? We're not going to wait on the ABC countries to fight for us. We got to fight for ourselves. We have to fight for ourselves. And I noticed my brother Sharon is not going to be on tonight, so we'll take up a little more of Sharon's time. We'll take up a little bit more of Sharon's time because Sharon is not going to be on here with us. He's not going to be on tonight. After a while, Sharon is there and he's going every night. And so, some nights you want to take a little break off of it. But let me say to you, we got to fix our own business. The A, B, C, E, F, G, H, I, J, K countries, they're looking out for their own interest, not our interest. They're looking out for their own interest. So, folks,
Tell your friends who are waiting on Cheryl. Cheryl is not going to be on. Tune in to Advancing the Cause. Tune in to Advancing the Cause. Let's talk some more. Tell the folks our number remains the same, 684-8758. Tell them to call. Make their calls and let's hear from them. We're going to take a quick break and then we'll return. Just about 3 minutes, we'll take a quick break and we'll return and we'll have some more on Advancing the Cause. We got to talk some more. We have another video that we're going to show you, and this one is of concern too. You know, while we speak on one side, we have to be balanced, and so we have to speak on the other side. And so we're gonna watch this. We're gonna look at this video.
You can't take me You can't take me out for me phone, boy. You will tell you? You can't take me out for me phone, boy. The police, boy. No, the police shot, boss. You can't take me out for me phone, boy. Me phone. Hey, tell him, man, relax yourself. You can't take my I still don't know. You will tell you? Why you can't take me out for me What's my chair? Is there a coffee here? Sit down there, sit down there, sit down, sit down, relax yourself. Why you can't take me out for me No one can take me out for me Boy, sit down there. You come to what jail? A man come try to make a with a man. What jail? I don't have to get there. You entry. Make a country over assault you. Make a country assault me. What? Hello. Why you here? The police station. Bye. You will see a man come and the fuck is here take a own. A man come to the station, one more
Well, you notice this is what we have to face. This is what we are faced with every day, every 2 days. You have citizens assaulting police, and again, it comes back to what I was saying all the time, that some persons are emboldened because they know where their backup is coming from. We had we had a young lady right at the Demerara Harbor Bridge there who assaulted a police officer, senior police officer. I think he was a sergeant or something like that. She bit him on his hand and all of that. And then we heard that the young lady behaved that way because she's working in the office of the first lady. And she abused and she go on. And you know what? That police officer was transferred. The young lady was not reprimanded, that young man, the police officer, was transferred. And so while you have police on one side brutalizing and shooting and so on, you got citizens who feel that they have all kinds of backing. They are abusing police officers, and that is not right. It is not right. So while we are crying out that police men and women are doing all kinds of things, we got citizens who are behaving, and some of them bold, very bold. And you hear the young man just now, and he wasn't concerned about who was talking to him. You saw the way he was holding on to the police officer's shirt. Now, if the police had put on a licking on him, it would have been a different story. But sometimes, you're in the police station. Yes, you have your phone, you make a call with your phone. Yes, you're entitled to make a phone call, but you're not entitled, you're not supposed to have your phone there all the time. You're in police custody. And oh gosh, I noticed that some persons are messaging rather than calling, and that they are just saying, that they're very fearful. They don't want their numbers to be registered there. And we can understand the kind of fear that people oh jeez, people can hardly talk. People sometimes want to say things, but they don't want their faces to be shown because they fear victimization. They fear that somebody will come after them. And we shouldn't have that in a democratic country. We shouldn't have that in a democratic country. And these are the people. Sarah Lynch gone. Y'all know Sarah Lynch gone. She was one of the persons who said she was standing out there for democracy. I don't know what has happened to the guardians of democracy. What happened to them? Where is Mad Max? I can't remember if it's Mad Max. It was his name or what he called himself. Something Max though. Where is he now? Where is my friend? Is it Jonathan? I think it was Jonathan. Where is he now? I want to hear you people talk. I want to hear you people. Y'all must come out and talk now. Y'all had all kinds of things to say. Just the other night, my friend Freddie was saying to me, how could this be? He expects parliamentarians, because you're at this level, to behave in a different way. But come on. I had to tell him, when a cat's back is against the wall, the cat will scratch. Imagine 31 amendments were posted there. They were proposed for that oil and gas bill. And all were rejected. 31 amendments. It's not that we weren't supporting it, but we wanted these amendments so that one person would not have all total, whole and solely control over, yes, Mad Max, whole and solely control over the oil industry. And they didn't want that. You know why? Because they know that they're going to be sneaking the monies out from there, and Tom will give Paul, and Paul will give thing, and Barrett will give Barrett, and Barrett will give wherever, and so on. None of the amendments they listen to. Is that a democratic country? Is that what you call democracy? Well, somebody got to tell me something different if they call that democracy. people are fearful. People don't want to come out for their voices to be heard because they know that we got people like Kwame and his acolytes. They're monitoring the programs and they will go after some of them, especially those who are public servants. People are afraid, and people should not be afraid in their own country. They should not be afraid. Where are the guardians of democracy? I'll be happy to hear from them. I ain't hearing nothing from a trade union partner, some of them, Carville Duncan and C. Paul Narai. Well, C. Paul in parliament with me, but he's busy. He can't talk. He can't talk. You know? And I remember under the coalition, we ensured that the FITUG, that arm of the trade union, that FITUG got their rightful place on the Trade Union Recognition Board. And on every other board, we ensured that they got their space. But you know now, the PPP are in government, and the same FITUG who we ensured that they attended the Labour ILO conference and so on, they're not speaking now on behalf of the TUC. As a matter of fact, they can't speak. They can't speak. They can't say to Barack Jagdeo and the others that the TUC must be part and parcel of what is happening within the labor move, within the labor arena. They can't speak. They can't speak because you know what? Some of them are political prostitutes. So they can't speak. They're just waiting to grab, and they're waiting to grab. And if they speak out, what is given to them would be taken away. They can shut them out. If you're in labor, you have to protect labor. You don't hear anything from them when public servants are not being paid. Not a word from them. Huh? Not a word from them you don't hear when public servants are being treated unkind. Since the PPP came into office, all that we have been getting from the PPP. Just hold a while for me. I think we're having a call here. Good night to you, caller.
Yes, I'd just like to make an observation. I'm calling from Linden.
Okay.
I don't want to be aired on the program, but I just don't know if it could highlight this point about the Mackenzie Sports Club, which has been a community grown over the years. And I don't know if it could highlight this point about the Mackenzie Sports Club.
Go ahead.
Yes, over the years, and that government now has taken over this place and doing their own thing. I understand that the club was given to the community by Demba, but they're claiming now that it's only the building, the land still belong to Nissel, so they're doing their own thing now with the land. That ground used to be for crusade, for sports, for family gatherings, and all sorts of things. But, you know, it seems as if they had a faction in terms of the committee. And I find that in certain situations, before they come to make some reconciliation and a compromise, they just divide and rule and take the option and just, you know, do their own thing. I'm saying they're building some state-of-the-art facility, but Linden, Nissel has a lot of lands all over the place. They could go somewhere else and build a state-of-the-art and let this place be more a community ground for football and crusades and family gatherings and all this sort of thing. And it's very, very sore point because I hear that they intend to pull down the original building, which is very bad because it's a piece of our history.
Thank you for calling, caller. And of course, I will highlight this. I will.
I'd like to know, you know, because like the gross proceeding, there were some protests and so on going on, but they just ain't pay no mind. They're just going ahead, and it's just so wrong.
Thank you so much, and I know that this is going to be indeed that building there is part of your history. And
yes, and it should be preserved. I understand that they can be pulling it down, which would be a very wrong thing to do.
All right, thank you so much for calling.
All right, then, thanks. Bye-bye.
Thank you. So here is it. We have a caller from Linden. I noticed we have another caller. Let me take this one too. Oh, I don't know what happened here. Good night to you, caller.
A pleasant good night, Mother.
Good night to you, my dear.
I just want to ask one question.
Go ahead.
I want to know why Guyana is sitting down and accepting all this nonsense with the government going on with. That's all I want to ask.
Thank you, caller. Well, you know, here is it. We had this caller from Linden calling first, and he's very, very concerned about the Mackenzie Sports Club. That's a part of the people's history. But you know what? The PPP are not concerned about history. You know, history doesn't matter. And next week I'll tell you more about this. History doesn't matter to them. If you look at what they've been doing, the Demerara Harbor Bridge, if they could shut that down tomorrow and have something replace that tomorrow evening, they will do it. Everything that Forbes Burnham would have done for this country, they try to erase it. They don't like history. They don't like history. And when you have to remind them, they tell you off, they have to talk all kinds of foolishness. The PPP have forgotten that the roads from Coretta to Parika were unbuilt under the PNC, under the vision and leadership of Lyndon Forbes, Samson Burnham. And you know, they talk about Burnham this and Burnham don't like people. Lyndon Forbes, Samson Burnham and his party and his government were responsible for that road. All the roadways that we have there. But they don't like history. They don't, well, you might be right. They don't like Black history because you notice they've named, rather than saying Chelly Jagan and Lyndon Forbes, Samson Burnham, we consider them the fathers of this nation. They're only considering Chelly Jagan as the father of the nation. I guess they don't like Black history. Lyndon was eyesore to them. Lyndon was poison to them. Now they've gone into Lyndon and they're distributing some handouts and a little bit of money here and a little bit of money there, and they feel that they can take over Lyndon. But I'm hoping that the residents in Lyndon, the citizens in Lyndon, that you're going to come out and stand up against this kind of craziness. Allow that ground to be a community ground, and they have so many other land space. They got so much more space in Lyndon where you can go to put down your multi, whatever complex that you want to put down there. I mean, what is really wrong with these people? Charles Ramsden can't even pronounce words properly. And he doesn't even understand what culture is. These people are crazy. Let's take another call. Good evening, you're on. Well, I'm not sure what has happened there. But yes, these people don't understand anything. All they understand is how to treat women bad, how to steal more, how to discriminate, how to be vindictive. That's what the PPP know. And to get into all kinds of rings that are illegal, they know those things well. They're not about people. They are not about people. And you know what? It was because of LFS Burnham that many of those who are sitting in the PPP are rich now. Let's take this call. Good evening, caller. You're here with us.
Yeah, good evening.
Good evening to you.
Yes. You see, Black people has history, but the Indians don't have. You know this?
All right.
The Indians don't have any history in Guyana. And wherever there is, they always like to have the rulers and do a lot of wicked things. Look in India, women are being raped, and they doesn't care about that.
Mm-hmm.
So our history is stopped.
It's frightening, eh? It's frightening to some of them.
Yes, it is. We gotta come out and stand up.
Yes, I agree.
Stand up for our rights.
Mm-hmm.
You understand? This is what we gotta do. If we don't, we always going to be the same way.
Thank you, caller.
You gotta stand up and fight back.
We have to stand up and fight back. Thank you so much.
Okay.
Bye-bye.
Have a wonderful evening.
You too,
Bye.
my dear. Bye-bye. Yes, and so we're going, I don't want us to blame Indians and talk about Blacks. We have to talk about the PPP cabal, that little group there. They're the ones who are causing the division. if you look around what is happening, under Forbes Burnham, like my friend Paul Court is saying, under Forbes Burnham, Jagdio got scholarship and he went and studied. Under Forbes Burnham, Jagdio was afforded free education. But when the PPP came into office, we had to pay. We had to start paying. Burnham gave free education from nursery to university. Burnham did that. Who changed it? And so everything that you have there written by Lyndon Forbes Burnham, or that Lyndon Forbes Burnham would have caused to have happened with his team, the PPP are trying to erase it. You see how they downplay Lyndon Forbes Sampson's death anniversary and his birthday and all of these things. Now, these are national leaders. Why can't we celebrate them? Why can't we celebrate our national leaders? It was LFS Burnham who gave recognition to all the other religions that we have. LFS Burnham caused that, and the holidays that we are now enjoying. But you know, you wouldn't hear that from that group of people. You wouldn't hear that from that wicked bunch. You wouldn't hear them say that. But I want you to understand, viewers, that this country is our country. This country is not about black and Indian, this and Amerindians, and this country is about Guyanese, one people. You see that one Guyana thing that they're doing? It can't be one Guyana when some are treated better than some. It can't be one Guyana when our girls are crying out and making allegations and coming out with their allegations and you're shutting them up. It cannot be one Guyana. It can't be one Guyana when some young men, because they are black, are treated differently. It cannot be one Guyana. And so we have got to swipe that one Guyana thing out. You know, I've said to a couple of folks, when you see elections come, that one Guyana slogan gonna be out. Because we're not one Guyana, we are one people, one nation with one destiny. Let's take this call. Good evening, caller. Good evening, caller.
One Guyana for PVP.
Yes, that's true. One Guyana for some, the three Fs, not the entire PPP, because they got some PPP people, plenty of their supporters suffering. Plenty of them. It's just the three Fs, the friends, the families, and the cronies, and the favorites.
Yeah.
Hello?
The PPP doing thing in their favor.
Yes, that is true. That is so true. Thank you for calling.
When you power, you jail them.
Yes, we'll ensure.
Jail them.
We'll ensure that happens, and we'll ensure that it happens this time around. We cannot be sympathetic towards them anymore. Those who went away with law books and so on, they can get off this time around. You know, and so people, you know, persons are getting a little more confident now, and so some persons are calling in. But the thing is, people are recognizing what is happening, where the PPP are just not their entire support group, but that little group, that one Guyana group. That one Guyana group, they're about themselves. You know, I don't have a difficulty with people wanting to go to seek medical services or to go to universities overseas and so on. We have no difficulty with that. But if you, as the president, you're telling us that the Georgetown Hospital and the New Amsterdam Hospital and Port Morant Hospital and all the hospitals that we have here that are government owned, that these hospitals are offering the best health care, why you don't carry your family there? Good evening, you're live on Advancing the Cause.
Why only certain people getting cash grant? And the thing is that people who get in business cash grant working and they don't have no business.
Okay, caller, thanks. Thanks for bringing that. You see, a caller is calling in and he is saying the same thing that we have been saying. Why is it that some persons are getting these cash grants? And we've seen that, we've proven that. People who never had a farm, who never even planted a seed, they got cash grants when there was the flood. They got cash grants saying and claiming how much things get destroyed for them. We have seen people who never even hold a fork, a shovel, claim that they had so much cattle and they lost them and they got cash grants. Them, their husband, their wife, their children, everybody get. And the people who really, really need it, they couldn't get any. And they went to some communities and almost everybody got. In some other communities, one and one and one and one. Especially if it's a community that supported the coalition, they're not giving you the cash grants. You know how many people still got their pink slips in their hand? Plenty, 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 plenty. And these are the things that we must talk about. We've got to come out and stand up to these people and let them understand that if you're going to talk about developing this country, you first have to develop your human resources. Do that, and then everything else will start falling into place. If you do that, you won't have to import truck drivers. If you do that, you wouldn't have to import nurses. You wouldn't have to import teachers. But back to what I was saying, I remember LFS Burnham went to Georgetown Hospital. But by the time our ministers here, the throat start bothering them, they fly out, they're gone out of the country. They're gone to America, they're gone to Canada, they're gone to all over the place. But this is your system. You should be proud of your system. You should go there and lie down on a hospital bed and take out a picture and post it on Facebook so that people can see. As president, I'm going to the Georgetown Hospital. As prime minister, my children. As minister, my children, I'm going there. Let's take another call. Good evening to you and welcome to Advancing the Cause.
Hi there. How are you? How are you doing?
I am doing all right. How are you doing?
Oh, I'm doing good, but you know, I'm very disturbed. Listen, I'm Guyanese and I'm calling home there. Oh, I'm good, but you know, I'm very disturbed. What is happening at home?
Yes, I'm happy that you're calling, and we want to say thank you for being here and thank you for understanding. And we know we're imagine you're not here and you're feeling it much more. Yes. Those of us who are here.
Yes, Coretta, and it brought tears to my eyes, my heart. It brought tears to my heart. I'm very, very concerned. Listen, let me say this to you. Listen to this. I'm living in Canada. I live in Alberta, Canada, and this is one of the most richest part of the world in Canada here. We have a lot of petroleum here. I live in Alberta, Canada, and this is one of the most richest part of the world in Canada here. We have a lot of petroleum here. And just let me say this to you. We have a prime minister here. His name is Justin Trudeau. We have a prime minister here.
Yes, you're listening to your
and let
television.
me just say this to you. He's very, very divisive. He has destroyed Canada. You would not recognize this country anymore. Very, very divisive. He's French. And this part of Canada where we are, which is English Canada, which is Alberta, Ontario, Vancouver, British Columbia, all the rest of Canada is English except Quebec. And he's from Quebec. And what this man is doing is just literally want to shut down the oil industry and absolutely to destroy the economy of Canada. And people are suffering here a lot. Not me, but there are lots of Canadians that are suffering here a lot. And this guy is a communist. He's very destructive. And let me say this. I saw President Ali attended some kind of a conference or something of the sort with him in somewhere in the Caribbean islands. And I believe he's being indoctrinated. And I'm going to say this to you all. You need to stand stern and strong with Ali. And let him know, let me say this to you. This is not one Guyana. We don't have one Guyana. We have one people, one nation, one destiny. This country does not belong to you alone. It belongs to all of us here as Guyanese. And we will do what it takes to You have the support of the diaspora. Do not be afraid. Do not use any race card, anything to do with black or Indian. All these things are just demonic works of the enemies, using that to cause distraction and division. It's a play card of the politician. This is what Barack Obama did in the United States of America, and we're facing a lot of troubles there too with this black and Caucasians. It's all a political stunt to destroy, distract, divide, and to get what they're looking for. Don't fall for it, and we're paying a heavy price here. But you all keep on praying, keep on fighting. No God is in your side. Be strong, be courageous, and do not back down. You take the war to Him. Do not stop. God love you, and God bless all of you, and God bless Guyana, and we will prevail and come through it. Do not be afraid. Love all of you. Love you, my sister, and God bless you. Bye-bye.
Thank you so much, Carla. Thank you for calling, and we love you too.
Thank you. My name is Nicola.
Nicola, thank you for calling in, and we understand that Guyana is about one people, one nation, one destiny, not one Guyana. And you see, this is a caller calling from Canada. This is a caller calling. So we have people watching us from all over, and they understand too. And many of them in the diaspora, they are with us, and they're understanding. And they are bothered with what is happening in this country. I want to tell you, friends, we have got to make a change. And this is the time to make that change, because the PPP are no good for Guyana. They are no good for Guyana. And unless we decide to stand up and fight together, we are all going to be consumed. It might not be you directly, but it might be one of your relatives somewhere else. And I have a caller, a viewer here, and this viewer is very, very up and understands what is happening. And the viewer is saying, we would love to not use the race card, but racism is rampant in Guyana, and Afro-Guyanese are getting the blunt of it, and that is true. We don't want to talk race. We love all of our people. And if you look at the PNC and the APNU and the AFC and the coalition as a whole, if you look at what we embrace people. And so we have Comrade Ramjatan there, we have Coretta, we have Dinesh, Jaipal, we have so many others and so many supporters, Afro and Indo and Amerindian brothers and sisters. We embrace people. Caller, you're on. Good evening to you. Hello. Hello.
The speaker is a bias every time, and the opposition could hit them with the fact, cutting them off, the mic off.
Yes, that is true. That is true. That is so true. Thank you for calling. And yes, viewers, our viewers and our callers, thank you for calling. And this caller just said that the Speaker of the National Assembly, like I said earlier, he doesn't want us to interrogate them, and that's why he's shutting us up. He doesn't want you to ask a question or two. He's shutting you up, and he's deciding when you put forward your question that this one is not important and that one is not urgent, and he's not going to entertain this and he's not going to entertain that. But a day is coming for him. I noticed Lorraine is saying something for us. It doesn't matter what part of the world we are. Guyana is our home. Guyana is our home, and that's where our hearts will be. And yes, our brothers and sisters who are in the diaspora, Guyana is always home, and that's why you find many of them returning to Guyana during summer, during Christmas, during the Easter time. They come home because Guyana is home. Right here is home. It doesn't matter where you are. Right here is home. And I can tell you, when I travel, you go. I was amazed that in Paris I was able to find a group of Guyanese. By the time they hear a GT woman down here, they all rushing to come and they want to embrace you. And you don't know them, but they're happy to see you. Switzerland is so everywhere we have Guyanese, and they are concerned about what is happening here. What is happening here? And well, we can't get rid of the speaker, we can't get rid of the speaker because the speaker has been there. The PPP, they were the ones who put him there. They nominated him because they have the majority. But we will have to apply public pressure. Public pressure. We in the parliament will not be able to do it. And so we're going to need the support from you right out here so that we can apply public pressure. If you noticed, we are continuing to have the parliamentary sittings at the convention center there because they're scared to come this side. They're scared that people will come out and view what is happening from those televisions that they have there, and that people are going to stand up in front there and demonstrate when they want to prevent us from speaking. That's why they're taking so long to return Parliament to its original place. But a day will come. The time will come. And like a caller said, who missed it the last time, they're not going to miss it this time. The speaker is wicked. The speaker is wicked. And to compliment him, he's got some of the folks on the side, on the PPP's side there, some of those ministers. Not all of them, some of them don't like what is happening, but they're scared to speak. The Speaker of the House in Guyana is very uneducated in Guyana or on Guyana or on Guyana's laws. We've been saying it all along. Lots and lots of square pegs in round holes. And I noticed one of my friends was saying, so why Mr. Granger went to Cuba and something? Because we weren't offering the services here. But for simple things, our president and ministers and so on, they're going to private hospitals. Simple things. They're going to private hospitals. 45 years, and I still keep my Guyanese passport, though I'm a naturalized American. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, because we are proud of who we are. But you know what? The PPP are trying to make us not proud of who we are. They're trying to do that. I remember when the coalition came into being in 2015. By mid-2016, the Guyana passport was blooming all over. You remember the days when you went to Barbados, you had the cold bench and the cold room? You remember those days? And that was under the PPP. You remember the days when you went to Antigua and they sent you back home? They put you on the next flight. You remember the days when you went to Trinidad and some of those other little islands? But between 2015 and 2020, all of those little islands respected us. All of them had respect for us. And you notice now, all of them coming here to take what we have. Imagine we're right here and we can't get land, but Bajans getting land doling out to them to come and do farming. Could you imagine that? We're right here and we can't get certain benefits. We can't get certain benefits, but you know what? The PPP are here and they're giving all kinds of benefits to the Venezuelans and the Cubans. You know why? Because they're going to use them to vote. They're going to use them for votes. But the Haitians who belong to the Caribbean, the Haitians who are part of CARICOM, they can't come here. They give them a hard time. You have to have a visa to come here. And even when they apply for the visa, they take 4 and 5 months before they can respond to them. And they ask for all kinds of documents. And when you present, even when those documents are presented to them, they deny them the visa. And they're deporting the Haitians. They're deporting them, looking all over for them, and they're deporting them. You know why? Because the Haitians will not go with them. The Haitians understand what it is to struggle. And so the Haitians will not buy their stories. So they're deporting them. They're deporting them and preventing them from coming to this country. I have some Haitian brothers and sisters who I've been engaging, and I will continue to engage them. And we will work to ensure that Haitians can come here too, because we signed on to free trade, free movement. And so our Haitian brothers and sisters must be allowed to come here too. They speak English like us, even though they speak French, they speak English like us. So they must be allowed to come here. But the PPP are a wicked bunch of people. And they're the ones who play the race card all the time. They are the ones who play the race card. But again, let me return to the issue in Linden. My friends in Linden, y'all need to stand up. We've got to stand up and allow the PPP to understand that they cannot continue to destroy our history. They cannot continue to do it. We are about development, but we cannot be about development when you're destroying your history. If you destroy your history, what will be there to guide you? How would you know where you came from? And they don't care, All they're interested in is what they can grab, You see how many of them putting up all kind of big, tall buildings? Sometimes you have to wonder, where did this person work to get all these kinds of monies to be able to put up them big buildings what they're putting up there? But you know what they can tell you? They can tell you like what one of their ministers said a couple of years ago. Oh, my family, they were sending stuff for us in barrels. They were sending monies for us in barrels. They were sending for us in barrels. Yes, I want you to. The Haitians are very intelligent people. They're very progressive, like my friend is saying, and ambitious. They're very, very intelligent. You check the Haitians, you check the Nigerians, you check those from Morocco. Can't even remember, man. Some of those African countries who come here. They are very, 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 very intelligent people. They are doctors. You know how many African doctors we have working at the Georgetown Hospital? Quite a lot of them, Ghana and so on, yes, quite a lot of them. But the PPP are about drugs and cash grants and bad deals. And so you have all kinds of shooting. Imagine we got all kind of plane touching down at all kind of airstrips in this country. And we can't find them. We don't even see when they're coming in. All we see of the plane, somebody light the plane afire, or somebody pass and the thing leak out, the money and pass, so the information leak out, and then you catch them. And then you don't hear anything else about it. But it's disgusting. Let's take this other call. Good evening. You're on to Advancing the Cause.
They are doing over Burnham Park in New Amsterdam. It's taking like 10 years now. But I hope when they finish, they may change the name. You understand me?
Yeah,
Because they're always doing things like that. It's like everything, as you say, everything that come on the Burnham regime, they're trying to get rid of. Even teaching the kids in school. So I don't know what really happening. This thing is on my heart.
Thank you for calling in, caller. And so, I'm happy that this caller called to talk about New Amsterdam, because you notice what happened? They tried to kill the tongue of New Amsterdam. So when they built the bridge, they built it way out that side. And you know what they did? They crushed all of those vendors who were selling along there where the boat used to operate. They crushed all of those vendors on both sides. On both sides, they crushed all of those vendors because they couldn't earn a living anymore. And so they're doing, fixing, refurbishing, and doing everything they're supposed to be doing on that Burnham Park there. And it's taking a long, long time for them to do. But yet, they're going to build a stadium. They have a park there. Rather than fix that park properly, you're going to build a stadium. And this is what we talk about. They are not interested in anything that reminds them of LFS Burnham. He's the Jumbie for them. He's their Jumbie. They're scared of him. I want to say good night to Madam Dawn Cush. I'm I'm happy that you're here with us. And yes, we will continue to assure our people that we are about people's development. We are about one people, one nation, one destiny. We're not about one Guyana, because there's only a few people with one Guyana. And yes, it's wickedness in high places. And yes, God is working and he's going to come through for us. Our people are going to be delivered out of the bondage that we're in. The pharaohs will go, and the pharaohs are the PPP, they will go. But callers, viewers, we want to thank you for being here with us. We want to thank you for always being there on Advancing the Cause. We'll be right back here again next week for more on Advancing the Cause. I noticed Dawn was saying something else, but we'll be right back here. Thank you for being here with us. And the next week, we're going to have the program again. Make sure you keep your surroundings clean. Check the drains to ensure that they are not the drains are not clogged and the water is not stagnant, because we don't want mosquitoes to breed there, because too many persons are coming down with dengue. We've lost quite a lot already, double figures. We don't want to lose any more. So take care of yourselves. Remember too that COVID is on the increase again. It's on the rise. So be very, very mindful. Put on your mask if you have to be in crowded areas. But we love you. And remember, we are one people, one nation, one destiny. Regardless of where we are, Guyana is our home, and we are going to fix things. Do have a good night. Be careful on the roadways too. Do have a good night, and may God bless you. Thank you for being here. See you again next week for more on Advancing the Cause. Bye-bye.
I'm such a fool.